Hey everybody, so we're at Jacksonville University. We're going to be measuring the salinity of our St. Johns River, and we're going to go ahead and collect our water sample. Salinity is the measure of how much salt is in a body of water. And in the St. Johns River, we have 3 different types of water with varying salinity levels. We have fresh water, brackish water, and salt water. The salt water comes in and out of our river through the tides from the Atlantic Ocean. Fresh water comes from precipitation in our spring-fed rivers and makes up a majority of the type of water we find in our river. And where these two meet and mix together here in Jacksonville is called brackish water. When scientists study the salinity of water, they use a unit of measurement called parts per thousand. Salt water is measured at 35 parts per thousand. This means that for every 1,000 molecules of water, there are 35 molecules of salt. Although this doesn't sound like much, if you were to swallow a mouthful of ocean water, it'd be pretty salty. Fresh water measures at 0 parts per thousand because it doesn't have any salt in it. And brackish water is anywhere in between. Let's test the salinity of our St. Johns River today, June 12th, 2020. We already collected our water sample earlier, and the scientific tool we're going to use to measure the salinity is called a salinity refractometer. So it uses refraction. And how it just works is I'm just going to put a small sample of our water on the blue platform, close the lid, and look through it. And it's looking like our salinity today is 3 parts per thousand, which is rather low for what we usually find off of Jacksonville University's docks. Typically, it's around 20 parts per thousand, but we did have a tropical storm come through earlier this week, so I'm not surprised we have a really low salinity level today with the amount of rain that we've got. So who cares about how much salt we find in our river? Salinity is a big factor in the types of plants and animals that inhabit an area. Some aquatic species are very tolerant of changing salinity levels, with some species inhabiting salt water but spawning in fresh water, or vice versa. One aquatic species that is very intolerant to large salinity changes is tape grass, the favorite food of the manatee. This grass was once widely found in Doctor's Lake, but with increasing salinity levels over the years, this grass is becoming harder and harder to find, and manatees are not as common to see in the lake as they once were. As the salinity increases further upriver, freshwater species are likely to be more impacted than the more salt-tolerant species. Salinity levels in the lower basin can change daily through the tides and the water cycle. Salt water is denser than fresh water and will form a wedge-shaped mass that flows upstream along the river's bottom. This salt wedge can be driven further inland by human actions such as dredging the river deeper and withdrawing water from freshwater tributaries for Florida's increasing population. These actions are just a few of what can drastically change the overall ecosystem of our St. Johns River. For over 8 years, St. John's Riverkeeper has sought a balanced approach to the deepening of our St. John's that would protect our river. Unfortunately, the deep dredge is underway and it's putting our river and our community at risk. A few of the mitigation plans St. John's Riverkeeper has proposed to offset the damaging impacts of saltwater intrusion resulting from the dredging are breaching the Rodman Dam to restore the natural flow of the Ocklawaha River, remove surface water withdrawal projects from the Central Florida Water Initiative 2020 Water Supply Plan, and restore impaired tributaries in Duval County. One way that you can reduce saltwater intrusion into our waterways and our Floridan aquifer is by conserving water. So where do you use the most water around your house daily? Fill out the online water survey, and I think you'll be surprised on where most of the water is used and wasted. Thanks for joining us today to test the salinity of our St. Johns River, and we'll see you again on the river soon.